found some treasures today. All right, we're rolling through here. This is one of my favorite thrift stores to go to in my local area. Unfortunately, they have significantly scaled down their jewelry, and I do not know why. I heard rumblings that they were outsourcing that, bagging it up and sending it elsewhere. I don't know why that is. I'm assuming they're doing that to try to maximize their profitability, but it's just a bummer because I used to get some really great stuff there, and the kinds of stuff as you're seeing is just, it's like, it's just not high quality, cheap costume jewelry, still on the tags a lot of times. This is an old Timex watch, but it didn't have any gold content or silver content. It had a nice band on it, but probably wasn't working. They wanted $4 for it. They used, I mean, as early as a couple weeks ago, they were only charging $2, so they doubled their prices. I tell you guys, this is the world of reselling right now. The cost of living is going up, inflation's going up, more and more people are out there buying and reselling, so the competition is higher, and people are raising their prices. So it's getting more and more difficult to actually make some decent money as a reseller. You really have to be smart. You have to really educate yourself. You got to hustle. You got to be out there. You got to get there early. You got to try to get there before other people. Right here is a little watch that I picked up. And I ended up picking up 2 or 3 pieces of things around here. I went and researched it, and really all I came out with in this particular location was that little watch, which I'll show you here in a little bit, an Elgin watch. I do pick up some costume jewelry at another place later on in this day, which I'm also going to get to, but I just wanted to show you kind of my process. I roll in, I check out the nice stuff, I check out the jewelry, the costume stuff, and then I roll around to the rest of the store. I definitely want to see what they got. And, you know, they got a good section with toys, they got a good section with various pieces of pottery and glassware and stuff, but I had a lot of things to look at here. Unfortunately, there just wasn't a whole lot that piqued my interest. Nothing that was signed on the back, nothing that was made of sterling silver today, and really nothing that just looked very high end. It all looked pretty cheap. It had that, you know, rough texture on the back. These were very mass-produced things. There was nothing handmade really about anything here. Just made it back to the warehouse. Take a look at what we found today. Here's some goodies I came out with today. You can see I bought 4. They were probably, I found somewhere around 20 different Santa Claus postcards. I narrowed it down, whittled it down to 4. And I'll tell you why I got these 4. They are a little bit more distinctive and crisp in the look of the Santa Claus figures. And if you look at a bunch of these, folks, you'll get to where you notice certain qualities that make them more attractive. This is a really good, you know, a really nicely done picture on here. It's these little kiddos sleeping. Here's Santa Claus. This one here is interesting. It's got this gold leaf color in the background, but the Santa Claus himself, a little different than what you normally see. He's got this whole body there. It's prominent. It's just mainly about Santa. Some cards have a bunch of other stuff going on, a tiny little picture of Santa. Those aren't as good as these. This one's definitely, you can see how it's kind of creased and wrinkled. That's not perfect. It could be in better condition for sure, but this is really old, over 100 years old. All good wishes for Happy Christmas. You can see the back is kind of in rough condition, but it hasn't been posted. And then finally, the best one probably of these is this one, and that being the reason being Santa Claus is wearing a purple hat, and a purple robe with like a kind of a brownish fur around it. You don't see that often. Good cheer. He's dumping out all these toys. It has been used, and it's got a stamp on the back of it here. $5 for this. I paid between $4 and $5 for all of these. I could probably sell each of these easily for $10, maybe all the way up to $20 or $25, just depending on who the buyer is and how much they want that particular card. I came out of a local thrift store with this set of 8 butter knives by the Towel Company, T-O-W. Where's it at? There it is, T-O-W-L-E. The blade itself is stainless steel. However, the handle, as you can see, it's very beautifully figured and etched here. Looks like a normal handle. It's a darker color, but if you look right here above my thumbnail, it says sterling handle. So all of these have sterling silver handles, and they're quite heavy. Paid $20 for this. I'm seeing sets like this selling in the $150 to $300 range, just depending. This particular one is monogrammed with what is either a W or an M. I believe it's an M. But that's a serving of 8 different ones, so a set of 8. No box, but I'm pretty happy to grab that. I definitely think I'll make some good money on that. These are examples of stuff, guys, I come across and buy for $2, $3, $4 at a time. This particular piece does not have any markings on it, and it does not even have a maker or manufacturer, but it is very well made, and it's attractive looking. It's also not a form that I see very often, so it's a little bit uncommon, unusual. It's a beautiful looking necklace, that gold tone with the black and then the rhinestones in the middle. This here is a set of earrings, which are, I imagine they're made of metal. They have an enamel paint on them, which is of a flower. You've got these little tiny pieces of what appears to be bone, probably from from a hog. And then you have the loops here, which, if you can see there, it says 925. So these are sterling silver. These are vintage pieces. They don't make pieces like this anymore. I knew these were old and made of silver, so that's why I got them. And then here's kind of a strange combo. This was not made this way initially. Somebody just put this onto this necklace, but we got 2 things going for it. In the first place, this necklace is the brand, so you can see it there, Crown Trifari. So it's Trifari, and Crown Trifari is the emblem they made when they were earlier on in their career. And Trifari costume jewelry is quite valuable, quite sought after. Then we have this piece of glass, and on the back here, it is stamped Murano. Murano glass is a type of glass. They make pendants, they make beads, a variety of other pieces, and they are also fairly collectible. So I'm not going to sell this as it is. I'm actually going to take this off, sell it separately. But these are the types of things I'll put into a large lot of costume jewelry, and I might end up with 100 pieces, let's say, that I've spent an average of $4 on per piece, so I'm in $400. I'll turn around and sell that lot for $1,000. And with the, fees with eBay and everything, I am going to net somewhere around the $400 range probably off of that. But it takes a while. I can't do this overnight. If I went out and picked out 4 pieces today, you can see how many trips I'd have to take to get 100 items. It takes a while. But that's okay. I'm buying other things and selling it along the way to make my money back, and then some things I wait and sell in larger lots to maximize the value. Very excited when I came across this, and I was actually told as I was buying it that the vendor had just put it out there. It's a little metal bangle. It has no markings on the inside. It's heavily tarnished. I was looking to see if it would say sterling silver or 925. It doesn't, but I'm pretty darn confident that this is a silver cuff. You can see this etch work is quite nice. These look like little football type emblems here, little flowers on the edge. It's awesome little scroll work. I imagine that they made this by having a flat piece of wax and etching out by hand or rolling something onto soft wax to put the indentations in it. And then they put that into a cast and pour the metal into it. and it was probably just flat, like a flat piece of metal that was pressed through a vise, and then they, they cut that out, and then they just polished and flattened it. It was already flat, rather. They polished it up, and then they bent it around to form in order to make this. And that process is pretty easy to make many, many, many pieces. I wouldn't say an endless number, but because eventually you have to redo the cast. But you can do thousands of ones like this. I'm not saying that there are thousands like this, but I believe this is sterling silver. I paid $6 for it. I'm probably going to give this away as a gift, but if not, I could probably sell this for $75, $100, maybe more. Here she is after polishing it up. Look at that. Gorgeous. It is sterling silver. And the etch work on that is quite nice. Great little piece. $6. Fantastic. This was only 50 cents. It's because it's in such terrible condition, crackling along the glass here. It's tarnished on the inside. It has no band, probably doesn't work. But just because it's the Elgin brand, which is a very well-known brand, made really good watches, pocket watches and things around turn of the century. This is probably from the 1950s, maybe 1960s, I'd guess. And I don't believe it has gold content in it. I'm going to try to open it up and see how many jewels are inside. But for 50 cents, I'm going to throw this in a lot of other like things. And I'm not going to make tons of money off of it, but there is money to be made even in these old, tarnished, cruddy old watches that don't work. Last piece of jewelry here, guys. This is very uncommon, very unique. And I'll tell you why. First of all, it's large. It is a carved flower, essentially, with a stem here. If I flip it over, you can see that what this is some sort of a clip or a brooch. This is something that could have been clipped onto a cuff, a scarf, a hat, something like that. You can see a couple of things it has going for it. First off, you've got some words. Delcia Depose. I don't know. I'm wondering if Delcia is maybe the brand name of this clip. Not this piece, but the clip. You can also see that this has been attached by screwing screws into it and into the piece. So that should tell you a couple of things. First off, since it's a flathead screw, this is going to be an older piece. Second of all, the fact that it was screwed into this means that whatever this material is made out of is incredibly strong, incredibly hard. Okay, so what is this particular thing? Well, upon looking at it initially, I knew it had to have been one of three things. It was either made of something called celluloid, which is something that was made to make a variety of things, jewelry, but also stuff like handles of things like vanity sets of mirrors and brushes, stuff like that. And also things to clean your fingernails and polishing stuff, manicure sets and stuff like that. So that's celluloid. The other thing it could be is bone. A lot of times they would have used bone from animals like pigs or cows to make pieces of jewelry. You saw a second ago a piece of jewelry had some bone in it. And then third of all, ivory. Now, if you know much about ivory, it's been, it was taken from tusks. It's been, that has been outlawed for a number of years, and it is illegal to sell in the United States. How do you know what is what? Well, there's a particular type of striation that you can see in celluloid that I don't see in this. So pretty quickly off the bat, I could tell that's not what this was. So then it's like, is this bone or is this ivory? Well, bone a lot of times has little black specks where the openings, the holes that run through the veins, I guess you could say, through the bone, will get dirt collected in it, things like that, and there'll be this pitting, this black kind of speckled portion. I don't see that at all on here. How you tell if something is ivory is when you look up really close. It should have, if you're looking at one angle, it should have some lines. If you look at it from a different angle, it should have some cross hatching. And we'll see if you can see what I'm talking about. So if we look at this really closely, the carving, you can see it's been carved and scratched out. And if you look here, you can kind of see some lines. Do you see those kind of wavy lines? At this angle, here you go again. You can see kind of those lines in there, right? That's deep inside of there. From this angle, it just looks like straight lines. But when you turn it up like this, you can start to see a cross-hatching effect. All right? So what we're looking at here, folks, is a carved brooch made out of pure ivory. Technically, it was illegal to sell this to me, but I didn't know what it was when I bought it, and I guarantee the people who sold it to me did not know what it was. It was a thrift store. It was something donated. It's a beautiful piece of jewelry. I will not be selling it, but it's very fascinating to find this in the wild. I hope you learned something today, folks. Go out there and find yourself a treasure, for heaven's sakes. Let's go find some treasures. Rusty hair.